ma'am, this quote was shared with me by my best friend after I could not clear my Punjab Judicial Services. So it really helped me move forward and to kind of see where where I stand. It was by Faiz Ahmed Faiz. It went something like दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं ना काम ही तो है लंबी है गम की शाम मगर शाम ही तो है. So it just really put things into perspective, and I was able to kind of handle things better.
Hello everyone. Today we have Edzorb Naina Jindal with us. She has recently secured a rank in Haryana Judicial Services Examination 2024. Over to you, Naina. Please briefly introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. My name is Naina Jindal. I pursued my BLLB honors from Rajiv Gandhi National University of Law, Patiala, and my LLM from National Law University, Delhi in 2022. Following which, I worked in the Election Commission of India in the capacity of a legal researcher. And after that, I pursued preparing for my examinations. I prepared for Punjab Judicial Services and then for Haryana.
Also, Naina, you were doing, as you mentioned, you were doing a job along with the preparation. So how you handled it? So you want to tell our viewers that as well?
Sure, sir. What I did was I gave myself a target every day that I want to finish one particular topic, and that is what I stick to. On average, I would say that I ensured that I was giving at least 4 to 5 hours every day, even during my working, and that is how I ensure that I complete my syllabus and prepare accordingly.
It's good to hear about your academic journey so far, Naina. So how are you feeling after becoming a judge? And what was your family's reaction and kaisa feel ho raha?
Yes, ma'am. I think more than anything else, I feel extremely grateful. Grateful to the God, of course, to my family and my loved ones. And there's a lot of gratitude. And I think this is how my family's reaction is as well. They're also feeling a lot of gratitude. And all in all, everyone's really happy and everything is great.
All right, Naina. Naina, now let's get into the nitty-gritties of your preparation. Tell us about your judicial preparation journey. Also tell me you have started this journey, which is fine, but what was the motivation behind starting this journey? How has this journey been? And please give a general overview about your preparation.
Yes, sir. So I started my journey in 2021. Even though I graduated in 2020 and I had no plans of appearing for judicial services, but when I graduated, COVID was in full flare, and I wanted to do something which was more in touch with the society. I mean, earlier my plans were more to do with corporate sector, but during COVID, I realized that either I wanted to pursue litigation or I want to go into the judicial services. And it is because of that in 2021, I started preparing for the exam. It took me roughly 1.5 years to prepare for it because at no point of time I was only preparing. I also completed my LLM, and then I started working. So it took me 1.5 years. And then I took Punjab Judicial Services. That was my first serious attempt. And that entire process took me almost 10 months. And after that, I appeared for Delhi, but I mean, I missed it by 2 marks, the preliminary examination. And thereafter, I've been preparing for Haryana in 2024. As far as the rough overview is concerned, my idea was to complete my syllabus beforehand, before I give any serious attempt. And after that, I revised, and whichever stage demanded whatever from me, I accordingly worked upon that.
Naina, after hearing this, I feel that your journey is a roller coaster. So how did you reinvent yourself after setback in Punjab Judicial Services?
It was, I'll be very honest, it was a very, very difficult time for me personally. And I mean, I reached up to the interview. I could not clear the exam. And of course, I mean, it was one of the lowest periods in my life. But I was fortunate that Delhi was notified and Haryana was also notified within a span of 2 to 3 months. That was one thing which helped me. Secondly, I also, I mean, it took me time, but I realized that I'll only have to get out of that rut. So I think that consistency and just motivation helped me move forward.
Also, Naina, can you please tell us the defining moment of your journey in consonance with Edzorb Law?
Yes, sir. So I think I became Premium Plus user in September 2022 with Edzorb. And of course, like I mentioned, I'd already been preparing for the exam. But after subscribing to the Premium Plus of Edzorb, I felt that I felt that I was able to prepare for the exam in a better manner because I was able to solve the questions. I was able to solve the question banks, and soon I mean I've also got through the preliminary examination. Soon I was able to use the blueprints and then even appear for the mains questions that were given to me. So I think in that regard, Edzorb really came into my life at the very right time, and it really helped me.
इट साउंड फैंटास्टिक नैना. सो अब आप मुझे ये बताओ नैना, एक बहुत पर्टिनेंट क्वेश्चन है जो मोस्टली जुडिशियल एस्पिरेंट्स के दिमाग में आता है कि एक स्टेट पर फोकस करें या मल्टीपल स्टेट पर फोकस करें, बिकॉज एज यू नो द वैकेंसीज ऑफ जुडिशियरी आर अनप्रेडिक्टेबल एंड वोलेटाइल. सो इज इट वाइज फॉर एस्पिरेंट्स टू गो विद मल्टीपल स्टेट्स, बिकॉज वी हैव बीन टोल्ड सिंस आवर चाइल्डहुड नॉट टू कीप ऑल our eggs in one basket, एंड डू यू थिंक थोड़ा सा रिस्क बाइफिकेटेड होना चाहिए?
So, मेरे personal opinion में, it is wise to bifurcate the risk factor. I personally also did. I primarily prepared for Punjab and Haryana, but I also appeared for Delhi, and I also prepared for it. And I think it is wise because 60 to 70% syllabus in all the states remains the same. Therefore, just to restrict yourself unnecessarily is not wise. That is my opinion.
All right. And also you made Edzorb your friend where we provide content for each and every state, not just for a single state. So that might have helped you in a longer run as well. So Naina, we have spoken a lot about this pertinent thing that it is better to bifurcate the risk of states. And Edzorb also advises the same thing, that never focus on a single state. You should definitely take 2-3 states because vacancies are unpredictable and volatile, and syllabus approx 80% states का similar ही होता है. Okay, Naina, moving further. We want to ask you, what was your strategy to clear this exam? Tell us about your prelims, mains, and if you want, you can cover the interview as well. So can you please tell us the highlights of your preparation?
Yes, sir. First 1.5 years of my preparation, it went solely into covering the syllabus. And of course, I mean, that is, I used to spend 5 to 6 hours on average every day and spend time covering my syllabus. After that, soon prelims for Punjab Judicial Services was notified. And I spent roughly 1.5 months completely covering my syllabus, revising my syllabus that I'd already covered, revising the extensive notes that I'd already made. Of course, also going through the BEAR Act and solving past year questions a little bit. And I think that really helped me. That made me understand what kind of questions I should be expecting. And I'd also covered the syllabus, revised it. And that was my strategy. Although I must mention that I barely made it in the Punjab preliminary examination. But I think I understood what was required, and I was able to crack Haryana's preliminary examination as well with this strategy. After that, for my mains, in this case, Edzorb really came handy because I utilized the blueprints that was provided by Edzorb. In blueprints, I was able to understand what kind of questions I should be expecting in my mains. And honestly, I personally am of opinion that 60-70% of questions remain same in all the states. I mean, there is a question which is bound to be asked about divorce in any case in all the states. Of course, form may be different, but it will be asked. So blueprints gave me an understanding of what to expect, and I worked accordingly. I solved the blueprints, and I also, of course, appeared for the mocks, which were conducted by Edzorb. And this was my strategy. I revised the extensive notes. I made short notes of my extensive notes, and this is what I did for my mains. And I was able to clear my Punjab mains and Haryana mains as well. After that, for my interview, I mean, there is nothing really that one can do except going through live law, being in touch with the latest developments, also, of course, revising the syllabus once, and appearing for the mock interviews. So that is what I did, and this is what my journey has looked like.
So, Naina, after listening to a journey, we feel that you have learned the art of integration. And this is very important to learn this art of integration because इतने कम समय में अपनी जिस भी चीज को आप ड्रीम को रियलाइज करना है, देन इंटीग्रेटेड योर प्रीलिम्स एंड मेंस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं जो समझ ही नहीं पाते कि प्रीलिम्स और मेंस की प्रिपरेशन आइसोलेशन नहीं करनी होती है. वो प्री पैंडेमिक एरा था जो चला गया. आज की प्रिपरेशन डिमांड्स इंटीग्रेशन, एंड आपको प्रीलिम्स और मेंस को साथ में लेकर चलना ही पड़ेगा. आपको रैंक जल्दी चाहिए. So, judiciary aspirants, it is a learning for you that never in your judiciary preparation, you have to prepare for prelims and mains and syllabus. You always have to do integration, and Naina Jindal is in front of us who has learned this art of integration and has got a rank in her Haryana Judicial Service Examination.
I totally agree with you, mentor. So, Naina, in one line, please tell all the judiciary aspirants what was your mantra for prelims as well as mains preparation.
If in one line I have to say it, it would be consistency, along with hard work and rigorous practice. I think that has really helped me, and this is what I focused on throughout my preparation.
Exactly, Naina. As you have mentioned, practice is the key to success. And for result-oriented judicial preparation, you have to practice a lot. And that is the mantra for the judicial service examination. Also, Naina, we want to ask you that what, according to you, is the best way forward to clear the prelims and mains in one go itself?
I mean, I must mention that I myself was not able to do it. However, if somebody were to learn from my mistakes and clear it in one go, I think what they should be doing is really be doing what they will be doing in the examination hall. What I mean to say by that is that in preliminary examination, of course, you have to revise the syllabus, but it is also equally important that you really solve the questions beforehand. You need to understand what kind of questions will be asked, and you need to already have practice in that regard. Likewise, even in mains, it's very important to not just revise, but really practice writing, because it is not just writing that you have to practice. You have to practice writing in a particular time frame. You have to practice writing in a particular format, and you should be very comfortable already beforehand with that. So I think the more one practices, the more they are bound to succeed. And if they do it in one go, I'm sure they'll be able to do that.
ऑलराइट नैना, नैना एक और चीज है जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके इस जर्नी में, वो है आपके नोट्स जो आपको रैंक ला के देते हैं. सो व्हाट वाज योर नोट्स मेकिंग स्ट्रेटजी एंड हाउ डिड यू गो अबाउट इट?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, I made extensive notes, which, like any other aspirant, ran into thousands of pages. But what my notes looked like were, of course, firstly mentioned the Bear Act in my own words. I, of course, did not copy the Bear Act in my notes, but I did write Bear Act in my own words. And then I supplemented that with judgments. And if any interpretation of that particular provision was provided by Supreme Court or any jurist in any book. And along with that, if there were any developments which in live law or otherwise, then I would supplement my notes whenever I would come across that. This is what my notes look like. And I should mention that I used different pens while making my notes, and that really helped me during my revision. So I knew that blue pen is for my Bear Act. I knew that Supreme Court judgments were mentioned with green pen. So when I was, whenever I would revise, then it would really help me. I wouldn't have to go through everything. I would understand this is Bear Act. I already know it. I only have to revise the judgment. So this is how I went about.
Also, one more thing, Naina, I just want to ask, do you think that video lectures are a must to crack any judicial exam, or do you think that practice that is the key fundamental to secure rank in any judiciary exam? What is your opinion?
Ma'am, in my opinion, there is no one way to crack it. Video lectures are not a must, and nothing is a must. However, if I am to say what is most important, I think it is definitely practice. If one practices, they are more likely to succeed. And other things are only, mode of how to achieve it. Practice is, of course, a must.
All right, you intend to say that practice can't be replaced, right, with video lectures? Thank you.
Definitely.
Moving forward, Naina, next question which I want to ask you is that Edzorb has a very unique feature that is a mains blueprints. So can you please tell in detail that आपने कैसे यूज किया उनको एंड आपको कितनी हेल्प हुई अपने means blueprint से?
Right. I should mention that that is my favorite feature from Edzorb, and it because firstly, mains is the most important aspect of the examination, because majority of the marks that an aspirant gets, they are in the mains examination. They are the make or break if in their selection. And in mains, of course, one has to practice writing. And now suddenly one feels lost because they do not know as to what areas they should be practicing and how much they should be practicing. So blueprints really came handy for me, at least. What I did was that I understood what to expect in a particular state. And further, I understood what area I should be giving more weightage upon, and what questions I should be focusing upon first. So it helped me prioritize my practicing in answer writing. And I think it really helped also. 60 to 65% of the real question paper also consisted of the areas of topics of any particular law that were mentioned in the blueprints. So therefore, I feel that it really helped me in my journey.
So Naina, Edzorb Law means blueprint is a secret sauce. And it is really wonderful to see that you understood the technique of the means blueprint. क्योंकि means blueprint क्या करता है नैना, ये आपको एक walled garden provide कर देता है. So ये unlimited garden नहीं है कि आपको सारे topics prepare करने हैं. We fence you in a culminated environment where you have to only prepare certain important topics. And we provide you with the rule of 80-20. 80-20 का rule use कीजिए, and by which 20% concentrated efforts करके आपको 80% results मिल जाएंगे. So minimum 80% questions would come from here. From this, just 20% of concentrated efforts जो आप means blueprint solve करने में करते हो. Because what we all provide, we provide you weightage, हम उसमें आपको repetition भी देते हैं, important topics देते हैं, and this, as you must be aware, and as you are Premium Plus user, that it is the most guarded document of Edzorb Law. And mostly Premium users know that how we handle for all the states. You have solved for Punjab, you have solved for Haryana, so we cover topics for all the states in our means blueprints. So Naina, next we want to ask you that in HJS, GK and GS का भी बहुत important role है. So how did you handle GK and GS?
Yes, sir. Because of course one has to study a lot there's a vast area in law itself that one has to cover. Likewise, languages also play a huge role. So I also focused on languages. So it barely left me any time to focus upon general science or general knowledge. And I also did not have it left in me to go through another book or go through another reading to cover the syllabus of general science. So what I would do was that I limited myself to watching YouTube videos. I would watch videos of the main topics like ancient history of India or modern history of India, bite-sized information, and in 1 hour video at 2x speed while eating food. So that really helped me save my time also. And it because they're visual in nature, and a lot of them are also animated or even otherwise. So it really helped me, and it gave me information which I could really easily digest and remember it. So this is what I did for general science.
Also, for the GK and GS part, we have concept treasures, which are in the visual link format. So while referring it, how did you find them?
So they were, I did go through, glance through them, and they're also very visual in nature. The information is very easy to digest. And I think, but I must mention, one can make better use of it. I'm sure that, the aspirants going through it would find it very suitable and useful.
Okay, Nana. Nana, it is really interesting to see that you have used the premium content in a very systematic manner with a proper technique. So I want to ask you, because many of your audience would be going to be of Edzorb Law, and generally जो दूसरे students भी होंगे, those who are using a free content of Edzorb, as you know कि around 10 to 15% of our premium content is free for all. So what is your advice कि best utilization of Edzorb Law content कैसे होना चाहिए? How to utilize the Edzorb Law content in a best possible manner?
I must let out a secret here. Of course, I was utilizing, I had access to Premium Plus course at all times, but I personally was not able to utilize Premium question bank a lot. I must not even have solved 1/10 of the question bank because it's very, very huge. And I did not have it in me to solve the entire question bank. And I found it so daunting that, of course, before Punjab, I ended up solving a little bit of it. Even before Delhi, I solved some questions. But before Haryana, I did not solve anything from question bank. I, in fact, only used the the free data that was provided by Edzorb. They provided past years of all the states. So I restricted myself to that for Haryana. And it was free, but I did not have to search it on internet. I did not have to find answers for it. And it was very convenient for me. And I was able to manage a decent score also. So it's very useful. One should go through it. In addition to that, they also, I think, provide vocabulary days to word of the day. So I think it's very useful. One can really go through the free information which is provided, and it makes a difference.
Also, why we provide so much of free content, because we believe that when a notification pops up on your screen each and every day, be it of quiz or be it of vocabulary or be it of anything, there's a zeal to learn a new thing. What is coming up? What is next? What Edzorb is launching? So we try to launch one or the other initiative in every 10 to 15 days, so that all the Edzorbians, all our free users are into this mode ki we have to learn something new. We have to solve this particular free quiz or the buckle up quiz or anything. And that is something which we love to provide students, and students are expecting this from us as well. So Naina, We have also, as you were also a regular user of Edzorb studies, and we have seen that some of the days you studied there till 2 a.m. in the night. So do you want to share the experience about the Edzorb study space as well?
Of course, I think if Blueprints is my favorite feature, Edzorb Study Space is my second favorite feature. Uh, I think I was all because for me, I was of course cooped up in my room, and of course, any aspirant is required to put in sitting hours ranging from 6 to 12 hours every day, and it gets very difficult to be productive day in day out. Especially when you also do not know if there's any vacancy which shall be out anytime soon, and even otherwise when you do not know when your exam is in sight. And Edzorb Study Space really came as a savior, because I remember there was a lot of time in between my Punjab preliminary examination and my Punjab mains examination. There was a gap of 4 5 months, if I'm not wrong. And but because I had access to Edzorb Study Space, it gave a lot of structure to my day. I knew that I would see familiar faces, and I also found myself accountable, even if there was nobody, there was just the executive of Edzorb. I found myself accountable to be productive and to not waste my time. And even otherwise, I think there are definitely some other online platforms as well which provide online libraries or online study spaces. But I mean, there's one might find myself entangled in some sort of cyber crime, and it might, or some sort of hacking, and or just untowardly behavior in general of these strangers. But because of course it's such a guarded space of people who are also preparing for the same exam as you are, in a very similar mindset as you are, so it was very very good, and I personally really endorse it. I think it's also a free feature, and one should really go for it. It's definitely, it's made a lot of difference in my preparation personally.
And then now we have seen lot of students who just sit there and study because they see ki other person, the competitor, is studying there around 8 to 10 hours. So even though they do not want to study more than 4 to 5 hours, then also they sit and study because they feel ki if my competitor can study for 10 hours, why I cannot? So think this also brings some motivation in them to study and prepare well with Edzorb. So Nana, coming to the next question, that a lot of people have profile insecurity, that there's a gap year, work experience nahi hai, we are not from NLU, etc., etc. So do you think all these things matter in the exam, interview, or even in your selection process, or it's just a myth?
It is 100% a myth. I really do not think it makes any difference at all. I mean, if we look at the past trends, even the trends this time, the majority of the students are not from national law universities. They're from traditional colleges. And even otherwise, I mean, so many students, I mean, people just have to pick up the past year results. There are people ranging from, born 10 years back to born, I mean, just graduated. So I really do not think it makes any difference. I mean, up until mains examination, the examiner does not even know whose answer key they are checking. Even in the interview, I think it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
All right, Naina. Naina, since we're talking about profile insecurity, and this is usually connected with interview, so could you please tell us about your interview journey and the kind of questions that were being asked to you?
Surely, ma'am. In my case, I mean, I had faced two interview panels, one in Punjab and one in Haryana. Both my interviews have lasted around 15 minutes, roughly around 15 minutes. And in my first interview, there were a mixed bag of questions. Some questions were from law, and others were from my personal profile. For example, my hobbies, and questions relating to my hobbies. I mean, they really went into details. For example, I like to. I'm into long distance running and HIIT. So they really asked me some questions as to the kinds of HIIT and things like that. And then there were questions about law, and there were some simple questions. And in my Haryana, there were some practical questions. For example, there was a question about criminal breach of trust, Section 406 IBC. And they asked me if, a person does not give, let's say one person does not pay money for the goods that they purchase. So do you think that will amount to criminal breach of trust? So there were questions like that. All in all, panels were always very friendly. So I think they really just wanted to understand you. That is all.
Also, Nana, as for the interview guidance, you also joined the Edzorb interview guidance program. So can you tell how did it help with your interview?
Surely, sir. In my mock interview preparation, I was taught to what to focus upon, because I think the interview is one stage where one feels really lost. One has cracked mains, but they now suddenly they are not to limit themselves to the syllabus of law. They also need to understand in depth as to what is happening in the surroundings, the latest developments, and also, of course, legal developments, and even themselves, their past, their journey, and their families. I mean, one is even just lost as to if they should be going into details how in depth they should be understanding their father's profession. So one feels really lost. But I think with Edzorb, they taught me the art of maneuvering the interview. How much I learned is a different story altogether. But I mean, that was completely. That is a new perspective that was brought to me, and I really appreciated that.
So, Naina, listening to an interesting journey, I'm getting one more question in my mind, which a lot of students ask me, sir, what is the single most important factor or strategy in a judicial service preparation?
I think the single most important strategy is to just be consistently putting the hard work along with practice and a little bit of smart work. I mean, one should not run behind going into commentaries, picking up the commentaries, or just blindly doing something which is unnecessary. One has to really put in smart work. One should limit themselves to a certain resource and just practice after that. This is what I think brings success.
So, Naina, I also believe that your thoughts are in consonance with that job law because we always tell that practice is the key to success. Only and only solution to clear your judicial examination is practice, practice, and practice. And if you practice in a proper manner, in a proper way, then you are bound to clear your judicial examination. Anyhow. So, Naina, just forget to ask you one more important aspect of your preparation. That is, what should be the revision strategy according to you? How should you revise and how frequently should you revise?
Yes, sir. So for me, my revision strategy varied with the different stage of examination. For preliminary examination, I went through my extensive notes. For my mains, because my notes ran into thousands of pages like any other aspirant, I made short notes of my extensive notes. I mean, my aim used to be that I have to synthesize my 20 or 30 pages of my extensive notes into one page. And like that, I was able to bring my short notes under 100 pages or around 100 pages. And because in mains, everything has to be on tips because one has to remember from the memory. And so once I prepared my short notes, I revised those 2-3 times before my mains examination. And again, for my interview, I went through my extensive notes. This is how my revision went.
So, Nana, we also believe that revision is extremely important to get a rank. Because if you don't revise, you can't retain in the exam. So, whatever is your problem, be it prelims or mains or whatever, start focusing on the revision and definitely that problem will go away. Also, as you mentioned about your short notes are very important in the long run because just before your mains examination, you do not have enough time to revise all the subjects at once because you have bulky notes. And a lot of aspirants always think is a short, banai kaise? How should we concise a elongated topics of 20 or 30 pages in a single page? So can you just explain, taking into consideration any topic, whatever you feel, and tell ki how you just define it in a single piece of paper?
Yes, sir. I mean, I can take example of, let's say, culpable homicide and murder. In culpable homicide and murder, of course, because every word of the sections is touched upon in great detail. However, and then of course, the notes again run into 50, 60, 70, 80 pages in that particular topic itself. However, what I did was I synthesized that topic in 2 pages, that is for front and back. And firstly, I wrote section 299, the important words, that is, whatever, likely to forgotten now. It's been 2 months, but yes, I mean the main keywords in my Bare Act, and if any judgment which is important for the interpretation of that particular keyword, then I would mention that. Likewise, then along with that, on the side, I mentioned section 300, how section 299 is related with section 299 for A is related to section 300A, section 299B is related to 300B and C, and likewise 299C related to 300D. So it also connected both the sections. Likewise, I also was able to again make a visual understanding of my notes. On the top of that, I wrote R versus Govinda because this is where the difference between both of them is provided. And it also, because I already remembered from my extensive notes that it provides a difference, I just wrote it because, of course, in extensive notes, I've already provided that in detail. Further, then the causa-causal theory, the whoever the jurist who gave it, like Gladwell Williams or Hart and Hondo, if I'm remembering correctly now. And then the interpretation, for example, section 300, clause 3, the locus classicus is versus Punjab. Then just mentioning the case, not mentioning the facts, or and just writing subjective test and the objective test, just 3 words, basically only the important words. And I personally also use different pens even in my short notes because I knew that I again would not get time to even go through my short notes even one day before my exam. So it was definitely very cumbersome. It took me a lot of time, but it really made a lot of difference in my journey. And this is how I went through my notes. And one day before my exam, I made it a point to, although I mean we have 2 exams in one day in mains examination, but even then I ensured that I go through my short notes. Of course, not in detail, just going through, just glancing through them and focusing on what I felt that I did not remember. So this is how I went about it.
So Naina, from your perspective as well, notes are very important for your preparation. बहुत सारे students क्या करते हैं, सोचते हैं कि we will take the notes of some other aspirants and just go through it. But that is not enough if you want to clear the judicial service examination, I believe. Also, Naina, now coming to the next, and after this we will start with the rapid fire round. But just before that, I would just want to ask you, what do you have to say about Edzorb Law role in a judicial preparation journey? And what is your opinion about the content ecosystem provided by Edzorb Law?
Yes, sir. So in my personal opinion and how I view it is as that I think firstly it's very different, and one uses it as per their convenience. For example, one thing I really liked about the Edzorb content was that if I ever felt that I did not understand some particular topic, for example, execution in CPC. I mean, it's been a weak area for me. I've always, been a little underconfident with regards to that. So whenever I felt underconfident, I did not have to go through anything else. I wanted to understand it very quickly because, of course, I've gone through it 5 times, but I still feel underconfident about it. All I have to do is I just opened the simplified notes, viewed the visual information which was provided to me. I was able to digest that information under 1 minute or under 2 minutes and move forward and like continue to feel that, oh, I understand the particular topic now. So I think that way it was very suitable to my needs, I felt. Likewise, in practice, I mean, before preliminary examination or before mains examination, I already knew what I have to focus upon, and I focused upon practicing. And the practice questions were very readily available to me. And again, for preliminary question bank was there. I was able to assess myself where I lagged, which topic I should be covering. So I think in those areas, Edzorb really came handy. Edzorb study space, of course, was a boon for me. And I think all in all, I'm very thankful, and I really enjoyed it, and I would definitely advise the aspirants to go for it.
Also, you must have also used the evaluation facility provided by Edzorb Law. So how did you find the evaluation facility, and what kind of remarks you got when you got your papers evaluated?
I used it, and it was very in depth. I mean, there was no scope for fapping at all in the examinations. I mean, as far as reviews was concerned, I mean, I was always the marks were, of course, very average, at least the marks that I got. But of course, I know that that was given to me so that I could improve and, present my answers in a better manner. But other than that, I think the evaluation in itself was extremely detailed, and not only the person rated me or awarded me the marks. They also told me that I remember there would be case laws mentioned, the important landmark case laws which I had missed out writing in my answer. So I think in that manner it was. I mean, I did not even have to look what I missed out. So in that sense, the evaluation was really nice.
And we also believe that evaluation, whenever you are getting your copies evaluated, it should be in the detailed one, because if the evaluation is superficial, you won't be able to understand where I have to improve, how I have to improve. But on the other end, when you get the detailed evaluation, you have all the arenas. We have to mention the case laws, we have to mention the legal maxims, on what lines, be it the structure, be it the chronological order, where you have to improve.
Right.
Okay, Nana. So thank you for your kind words, Nana. Also want to ask you, would you recommend the Edzorb Law to the students preparing for the Judicial Service Examination?
Yes, I would definitely recommend Edzorb Law to the judiciary aspirants.
So Nana, we will have a quick rapid fire round for you, and इसमें हम आपसे कुछ questions पूछेंगे, and you have to answer them quickly. So coming to the first question, please tell us how you kept yourself motivated in this journey, and what did you do for your mental health?
I ensured that I took out at least 1 hour for doing something which is not related to reading or writing or anything to do with academics. So in my particular case, I liked to ensure that I worked out, I exercised, and or if not that, just talking to my friends or my family members and walking side by side. So I think exercising really releases endorphins and it helps in maintaining mental health. So I think that really helped me.
Perfect, Nana. So Nana, coming to the next question is, which I think everyone suffers in their preparation journey, that how to deal with negativity and toxic relatives during the preparation.
I think how I dealt was, I mean, I was very lucky that I barely had any negative people in my life. But if at all, of course, we do have some people like that. So the only way is to just cut the contact. I mean, limit your contact with them, if not more, and just really protecting your mental health by not interacting that much.
Perfect. So Nana, next, please tell us about your role model.
It's my, I mean, there are a lot many, but if I have to mention one, it would be my paternal grandfather. He was I'm also I mean, he was also a government servant, and he really taught me the value of not just hard work, but enjoying hard work. I mean, people really think of it as work, but I think, I mean, he taught me that it's also enjoyable. You can enjoy working hard and, living your life. So that's what I learned.
Perfect, Nana. So Nana, coming to the next question, that is how you used to unwind your day.
I would, I mean, I would exercise or I would talk to my friends or my family and just taking out that 1 hour. I mean, it was very pious and sacred to me. I would, even if I'd not been able to study for 5 hours or 6 hours, which is what I targeted, even then, I would ensure that for that one particular hour, I'm taking it for myself. I mean, that was the most sacred to me the entire day.
Perfect, Nana. So Nana, next question is that, do you think that you can get the rank just by watching videos?
In my case, I feel that one particular thing is never enough. Practice, of course, because I mean, what more than practice, I mean, I would like to put it in this sense that whatever you have to do in the examination hall, just you need to replicate that already. The more you replicate it beforehand, the more comfortable you will be in the examination hall. And even if there are some surprises, even then you will be able to handle it. For example, if I am to mention my way of replication, I mean, before my mains examination, I'd even tried 10, 15 different pens so that I mean, I could ensure that what is it that I am most comfortable with. I'd even practice on the horizontal answer keys because that is what is provided in the Punjab and Haryana exams. And I mean, I wanted to be able to practice everything which was at least in my control. And even then, there are always going to be surprises. Even in Haryana exams this time, the number of practical questions asked was way higher, and it was, I mean, than the usual. Likewise, even in the preliminary examination, the number of questions which came from general knowledge or the legal general knowledge were way higher than the usual. So there are bound to be surprises, but what one can do is just do practice as much and prepare for as much as they can. So this is what I believe in.
ऑल्सो नैना, एक क्वेश्चन काफी पूछा जाता है, आपने पेन कौन सा यूज किया था मेंस प्रिपरेशन के लिए?
It was there's a company called Luxor. I think it was a Uniflow pen, if I'm remembering the name correctly. Although I'll be happy to provide the picture of it if it's required.
Sure. Also, tell us about your favorite book, Naina, and any favorite quote which has motivated you throughout your journey.
Book. I'm sorry, I'm just limiting myself to reading the law books recently. I mean, I can't remember. There is definitely a quote by Ahmed Faiz. My best friend sent it to me after the day I could not clear my Punjab Judicial Services. It was it's दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं, नाकाम ही तो है, लंबी है गम की शाम, but शाम ही तो है. So it really helped me. Of course, took me time, but I was able to move forward.
That's lovely.
So my favorite.
All right, Naina. Naina, we have spoken a lot about your strength, your success, your result. So could you please tell us about your weak links as well in your preparation journey?
I think one weak link for me was my regional language. And because after 10th standard, one does not pay a lot of heed to the regional languages. So that is something that I was cognizant of. I also tried to work upon, but I think I could have worked upon it a lot more, and I should have. So I think if one is like, for example, I only started working for it once I cleared my preliminary examination. But if somebody is preparing or covering their syllabus, and if they do as much as just read the regional language newspaper or just write half a page, not more. So I think even that would make a lot of difference. It really compounds, your knowledge compounds. So I think that is something that really will help. It was not something that I did, but one should do.
All right, Naina, just one more thing just to supplement the previous question, and you can also give a long answer to the same. Naina, आपको क्या लगता है जुडिशरी एस्पिरेंट्स क्या गलती करते हैं अपनी प्रेपरेशन में, जिसकी वजह से उन्हें कई साल तैयारी करनी पड़ती है बिना किसी रिजल्ट के? What do you think they lack?
I think it is just the fear of putting yourself out there. I also myself have had it. That is why I always was working on something or the other throughout my journey. And I think I do not discourage that. One should always, of course, if they're able to. That is not the problem. But one should really mentally put themselves out there. They should really give their 100%. And even then, there is no guarantee that there shall be success. There may even then be failure. Even if you give your 100%, you may still fail. But you will one day 100% succeed. That is the lesson. So it's very important to give 100% mentally and even otherwise.
Also, Naina, did you face any breakdown in your preparation?
Yes, I did. Like I said, after Punjab, of course, because I had come so far, I did not make it. I'm only human. I did, of course, it was a tough time for me. But I was lucky, I was fortunate. Other states were notified very quickly. Otherwise, also, I felt that one really has to, pick themselves up. And it's very important to maintain that hobby. I'd left that in that period. So had I not, I'm sure that breakdown must have lasted a little shorter than it did. So I think that is what one should do.
So, Naina, coming to the next rapid fire question, that is, what is the role of Jalsa ma'am in your preparation journey?
Jalsa ma'am has been mentored in the true sense of the term. I think one feels very lonely in the entire journey because, of course, everyone's really supportive of what you're doing, but nobody really understands the grind. And of course, at the end of the day, you are the one who's putting in hard work and putting hours day in and day out. But I think what Jalsa ma'am did for me was that, I knew that I could just call somebody at drop of a hat who would be readily available to listen to me revel in my sorrow and to get me out of that. And so I think that is the role she played. I very clearly remember after my before my Punjab mains examination, a week before that, I thought I'd covered everything, I'd done everything, but there was a lot of self-doubt because I did not know if what I've done is enough. And I'd also stopped studying because I thought that, this is what people also tell you, that you shouldn't study 1 week before your exam. You should now unwind. So I'd also stopped studying. So then I remember she only called me. She was like, why are you not coming to Edzorb study space now? Why are you not studying? It's only a week left. And I told her that I'm also feeling a little underconfident. I do not know if what I've done is enough. Again, not giving 100%, pulling yourself back. And but she told me that there's just 1 week left. You should really put yourself out there, give your 100%. And she told me, she's like, "Aega interview ka call, don't worry." And I think that really I think it's just maybe the way she says it, or I don't know, like what she understands probably what you need to hear. That is something that she can probably better answer. But yes, that really helped me. And even otherwise, I think whenever I've had a difficult time moving forward, I think she's always been there. So she's really a mentor in true sense of the term.
Good to hear about it, Naina. So, Naina, coming to my last rapid fire question to you is, on a scale of 10, how would you rate the utility of Edzorb Law in your judicial preparation journey?
Of course, it's 10 on 10 for me at least. And having said that, I would also like to add on that it's really upon the aspirant what use they make of the entire program that is provided to them. There's no spoon feeding, so one really has to practice on their own. One has to read the simplified notes. If of course, so if one does not do that, they might not like it. But if really one makes most of it, then I'm sure they're bound to like it.
So Naina, before we wind up the session, do you have any final thoughts to share? And also, do you have any message for women candidates who are preparing for judicial services?
I think my final message would be that one should just, try and be their favorite aspirant. And I think it's really, this is the only way to go about it. If, one should, of course, the result is not in our hands, and we cannot predict also what happens. But what one can do is really just do what they think would a most perfect candidate do. If they think that they would be reading newspaper, if they think they would be practicing, if they think that they'll be covering the syllabus, I mean, whatever stage of preparation they are at, so they should really do that. And they should be sure that, oh, nobody is preparing better than I am, at least in their minds. Because I think even if they're not, they're bound to be nudged into the right direction. Sooner or later they will realize that they're lacking here, they should be focusing on something else. Sooner or later they are bound to find the right path and move forward. So I think that is my final message. As regards to the women candidates, I really do not think I have to say anything. The past tense are a testament in itself to showcase that how lion's share is already being taken by women, and rightly so, I must add. And therefore, keep doing what they're doing, I guess. So that's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Naina, for joining in. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So, Naina, coming to the end, thanks a lot for joining the session. I hope many judiciary aspirants would be motivated by your journey. Most of them who are into this preparation for around 2 to 3 years, they would not lose on their motivation and keep on preparing because one or the other day they would definitely succeed. And even after interview, you should not be disheartened because you have always have a plans which is written for you. You have a destiny, and definitely one or the other day you will achieve it. So thanks a lot, Naina, once again for joining the session and giving advice to a lot of judiciary aspirants. Thanks a lot.